Streaming with us, incredibly graphic testimony today in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. And we have to warn you, some of what you hear may be disturbing.
That was a really painful time. I'm sorry.
Still got bitten, down that road. Now, Speedy don't have to go down that one, right? So.
TD Jakes was hanging out at a rapper and twerking party. What? That Puff Daddy held. He's sitting right there. Oh, TD Snakes.
Amen.
They there twerking and everything. TD Snakes right there.
My Lord, my Lord.
The entire Diddy trial has moved far beyond just another Hollywood controversy. It's now turned into a complete media spectacle, almost like a real-life crime series you'd sit down and binge with a bowl of popcorn. What initially began as one woman, Cassie, courageously coming forward to reveal her painful experiences has now escalated into something far larger than anyone could have imagined. This isn't simply about a single celebrity or an individual victim anymore. The situation has expanded into a massive, unfolding drama pulling in high-profile names, intense courtroom scenes, and shocking allegations that have left the public in disbelief. One of the most gripping moments in the courtroom came when the jury was presented with an audio recording from a hotel encounter involving a male sex worker identified as Dawn. Initially, most people thought this case was solely centered around Cassie's allegations, her claims that Diddy tightly controlled her life, hosted unusual secret gatherings, and allegedly mistreated her in private. But now, the entire case has taken a much more serious and unpredictable turn. Courtroom insiders are now quietly suggesting that the situation has entered dangerous territory. The recordings played during the trial are not ordinary, they are extremely intense. These aren't just phone conversations. They're audio clips so graphic and unsettling that the entire courtroom reportedly fell silent when they were played. Phones have since been completely banned from the courtroom. No cameras, no recordings, just complete silence as these deeply disturbing audio tapes are played behind securely closed doors. Then came the witnesses, not random fans chasing attention. These were credible individuals who had personal and professional ties to Diddy, people who had worked with him and even attended events at his mansion. Now, they've decided to speak out. One of these witnesses was Dawn Richards, the same. Dawn from the girl group Danity Kane. She appeared in court visibly drained. When she began her testimony, everything shifted. She supported Cassie's claims and told the court she personally witnessed Diddy assault Cassie simply because dinner wasn't ready on time. Eggs were thrown, a skillet was reportedly swung at Cassie's head, and she fell to the floor, curling into a fetal position while Diddy allegedly continued kicking her repeatedly. Dawn admitted she never called the police, she was too afraid. The following day, Diddy allegedly warned her to stay silent, suggesting that people who speak out can disappear. And just when it seemed the situation couldn't become more intense, Homeland Security got involved. A federal agent testified about searching Diddy's hotel room, where they reportedly discovered bags of baby oil, multiple bottles of Astraglide, and a series of unanswered questions. The courtroom's mood immediately changed. Even Diddy's own daughters were seen leaving the room, appearing pale and visibly shaken. They said nothing and avoided all press on their way out. That moment left a lasting impression it conveyed, more than any words could. But the developments didn't stop there. Things took another unexpected turn when Will Smith's name was formally brought up during the court proceedings, not just in passing, but in a direct and significant way. The tape reportedly captured it all. When the news broke online, it quickly spread across the internet. People began revisiting old interviews, analyzing uncomfortable exchanges between Will and Diddy, and even referencing jokes made by comedians. Like when Lionel subtly suggested there might have been more to their relationship than friendship, adding to the conversation. Jaguar Wright, well known for exposing hidden truths within the industry, spoke out again. This time, she didn't hold back. She mentioned Will's children, his mentees, and even brought up names like August Alsina and Brisher Gray. She questioned whether the entertainment industry has influenced people so deeply that they've lost touch with their own identities. Her words weren't simple accusations. They were direct challenges to the system. She also commented on how Brisher Gray and even TD Jakes seem to be doing whatever it takes to regain their standing, but according to her, the industry isn't. actually welcoming them back. They're simply being led on. Then Meek Mill's name surfaced in leaked courtroom audio, pushing the situation even further. Unlike Will, who remained quiet, Meek reacted strongly on Twitter, posting defensively and unintentionally drawing more attention to himself. Soon, people were joking that he started dressing and acting like Diddy, with some considering it more than just coincidence. Reports even surfaced that Google searches from Meek's devices revealed explicit content, further fueling speculation. Old footage of Diddy calling Meek daddy at a shirtless birthday pool party began circulating again, quickly turning into viral memes. When Meek fired back with, "I'm not fruity, stop playing with me," the internet reacted swiftly, countering with screenshots, videos, and an overwhelming wave of jokes that only kept the conversation going.
And you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
Amid all the ongoing noise, what's truly capturing people's attention is the confidential court audio. There have been no leaks, no video, just serious whispers about what it might contain, including claims of someone being harmed while Diddy allegedly laughs in the background. Some believe the silence surrounding this audio is to protect the victims, while others think the material is simply too damaging to be made public. It could destroy reputations, cancel contracts, spark lawsuits, and possibly bring powerful new names into the conversation people the public hasn't heard about yet. If Will, Diddy, and Meek are just the starting point, the question remains who else could be involved. One name that continues to surface is T.D. Jakes. For those unfamiliar with Bishop T.D. Jakes, here's a brief overview. He's one of the most recognized prosperity preachers globally. His message focuses on the idea that Jesus was wealthy and that God wants people to be wealthy as well. But while Jesus spent his life with the poor and the marginalized, Bishop Jakes is rarely seen in those spaces today. Instead, he is frequently spotted at exclusive events, often alongside presidents, Hollywood celebrities, and billionaires. Among his many high-profile connections, Diddy's name is especially noticeable. T.D. Jakes and Diddy have maintained a public friendship for years. But beyond the visible interactions and photo opportunities, there has long been speculation, quiet conversations suggesting their relationship might go beyond what's seen in public. Some people online believe there's more happening in private matters that neither make it to the public stage nor attract the attention of the media. These rumors aren't new. In fact, they gained significant attention back in 2009 when T.D. Jakes' son, Jermaine Jakes, made headlines of his own. Jermaine, who was 29 at the time, was arrested by undercover vice officers at Caius Park in Dallas. According to the police report, he approached two detectives with his pants unzipped and, in a surprising act, began to masturbate while maintaining eye contact with one of them. The officers arrested Jermaine immediately on the spot for indecent exposure. He was briefly detained at the scene but was later released. Still, the incident left many people in disbelief. Consider this: Bishop T.D. Jakes, a man who teaches righteousness, self-discipline, and moral living, had his own son involved in something so publicly embarrassing. The contrast was hard to ignore. It raises questions if those closest to a prominent preacher aren't following the same values. What else could be happening privately? Now, focusing on Diddy and T.D. Jakes, their connection appears to go much deeper than public events and photos. When Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, sadly passed away, he personally requested Bishop Jakes to lead her funeral service. That's not just a distant friendship, that indicates a close, trusted relationship. Bishop Jakes later shared an emotional tribute to Kim on Instagram. He spoke about Diddy's deep love for her and encouraged others to recognize that kind of love as a meaningful blessing, even in the midst of grief. On the surface, his message was heartfelt and sincere. However, things became more complex shortly after. While Jake spoke of love and healing, reports that surfaced following Kim Porter's passing told a much more troubling story, especially regarding her time with Diddy. Allegations emerged, claims of control, emotional harm, and even physical abuse. Some reports allege that Diddy had broken Kim's nose, while others pointed to possible long-term trauma that she may have endured quietly. Statements from Diddy's former bodyguard made the situation more serious. He claimed that Diddy treated Kim much the same way he treated Cassie. So when Cassie later filed her lawsuit describing years of control, mistreatment, and emotional harm, it became much easier to believe that Kim might have experienced something similar.
I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through. and that was Kim Porter.
Here's something important to remember. These talks about Diddy didn't suddenly start because of the recent lawsuits or headlines. No, these rumors have been circulating for years. Long before any legal cases or police investigations, people were already questioning Diddy's lifestyle. He has always been considered one of the most talked about and controversial figures in the entertainment industry. His life has been filled with wild stories, famous parties, and constant speculation about what really goes on when the cameras aren't around. But this is the part that makes people stop and think. Despite all of this, the long-standing rumors, the media coverage, and the atmosphere surrounding Diddy, Bishop T.D. Jakes never turned down an invitation. In fact, he often attended with a smile, blending in and appearing completely at ease.
Happy birthday to you. We love you, man.
And that's where
people start asking questions. When a religious leader is regularly seen at gatherings known more for luxury and indulgence than for spiritual growth, it raises concerns. What's really happening at those late night events? And why are so many influential figures, including religious ones, so interested in being there? When Jaguar Wright was asked why she believes T.D. Jakes consistently attends Diddy's parties, she shared some strong opinions.
But for him to be at a Diddy party? I don't know. Like, I feel the same way about that as I feel about when Tyler Perry came to his church and laid hands on him and he caught the Holy Spirit from Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is the bishop boy.
Jaguar Wright didn't limit her comments to T.D. Jakes. She also spoke extensively about Will Smith. If you aren't familiar with some of the long-standing rumors, one of the most shocking is the claim that Will Smith's son, Jaden, was allegedly handed over to Diddy at a young age. For some, this isn't surprising, especially given how Will's public interactions with his son have sometimes raised eyebrows. Over the years, people have seen Will kiss Jaden on the lips on national television and in other public moments. Some might view this as a simple sign of fatherly love, but many others have found it uncomfortable, unsettling, and completely inappropriate. There have been long-standing discussions about Will Smith's personal life and whether it fully matches the image he has presented to the public over the years. Some suggest that, similar to Diddy, Will has displayed what they see as unusual levels of affection toward younger male celebrities in the industry. These speculations gained more attention when Star magazine published a story claiming that Will and his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, had separated not because of another woman, but allegedly because of another man, actor Dwayne Martin. The situation became more serious when Will's former assistant, Brother Billo, spoke out in an interview with YouTuber Tasha K. He claimed that he once walked in on Will and Dwayne in a compromising position in a dressing room, and Maggie said, "I opened the door and saw Dwayne and Will being very close. They were on a couch Will was bent over, and Dwayne was standing. According to him, the scene was highly intimate, but that wasn't the only accusation." Jaguar Wright also shared her own troubling claims. She alleged that both Will and Jada would bring young boys into their home, presenting it as a mentorship opportunity, but things reportedly took an unsettling direction. According to her, their son Jaden was exposed to some of these situations, experiences that may have left a lasting emotional impact on him. Jaguar further claimed that individuals like actor Brisher Gray and rapper Meek Mill once had to run from Will's home, calling for help. She suggested that the couple's behavior caused serious emotional distress to some of the young people they mentored, leaving them deeply affected and eager to escape.
I had in common though, the survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before.
Just as Diddy was known for mentoring his favorite young artists and team members, there have been quiet but persistent rumors that something more concerning may have been happening behind closed doors at Will Smith's home. Some suggest that, like Diddy, Will may have crossed boundaries under the appearance of mentorship, allegedly manipulating and intimidating young artists for his own benefit. These concerns become even more serious when you consider the case of Brisher Gray. His public struggles, emotional breakdowns, erratic actions, and personal battles with depression and substance abuse drew significant attention. Many believe these challenges didn't develop without cause. They are said to be linked to his time under Will's mentorship, where Will allegedly showed him an unusual degree of personal attention. These allegations raise troubling questions about whether the mentorship offered was actually harmful rather than helpful.
Surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
Another person reportedly connected to this situation is Jaden Smith's close friend, August Alsina. In 2020, August made headlines when he revealed that he had been in a romantic relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith back in 2016, claiming that Will Smith not only knew about it, but had apparently approved of the relationship. This admission quickly went viral, sparking wide discussions and raising questions about the real nature of the Smith family's relationships and household dynamics. The revelation did more than stir public curiosity, it led to serious conversations. Many began to question whether the mentorship offered by some of Hollywood's most powerful figures was genuinely supportive or possibly manipulative. As Will and Jada continued to welcome young artists into their home under the label of mentorship and family closeness, their own son Jaden found himself in social circles linked to Diddy. Jaden wasn't alone. Usher was part of that group too, which caught people's attention once again. Fans who had long speculated about Usher's past with Diddy were reminded that Usher had moved to New York to live with Diddy when he was just 10 years old. Given the current legal cases and ongoing rumors about Diddy's past behavior, this detail sparked renewed concerns about what Usher might have seen or experienced during that period. Later, when Usher was asked in an interview whether he would ever allow his own children to be in a similar living arrangement, he didn't hesitate. His answer was a clear and firm absolutely not. That response left a strong impression, making many question what really happened behind closed doors and just how far-reaching these connections and their possible consequences might be.
To New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Still, many fans continue to question Usher's actual involvement in all of this, especially as quiet discussions persist suggesting that he may have adopted Diddy's controversial mentorship approach. One of the most talked about claims is that Usher played a key role in introducing Justin Bieber to Diddy, an introduction that, according to some, led to Justin allegedly being exposed to concerning situations behind the scenes. Now, let's piece this together. When Never Say Never launched both Jaden Smith and Justin Bieber to international stardom, it wasn't just a fortunate moment. Usher and Diddy were directly involved, carefully guiding their rise. On the surface, it seemed like a major success story for young talent, but some suggest there may have been hidden consequences, a possible loss of innocence exchanged for fame and access. What makes this even more concerning is that, despite the growing accusations against Diddy, Usher has not distanced himself. In fact, he continues to publicly praise Diddy, calling him the greatest mentor he's ever had. For some, this may appear to be loyalty, but for others, it raises concerns that Usher might know more than he is willing to reveal. Adding to this, Jaden Smith has openly discussed his struggles with substance use difficulties that reportedly began during the same time he was regularly attending Diddy's well-known parties. Some sources have even suggested that those gatherings were coordinated by both Diddy and Will Smith, bringing Jaden into that space at a very early age. Now, considering all that has surfaced, it's becoming harder to ignore the possibility that Will Smith, Meek Mill, and even Bishop T.D. Jakes may be more deeply connected to Diddy than previously assumed. When you look closely at the details, the court testimonies, the public appearances, the witness statements, it starts to form a complex, troubling picture. These aren't just distant associates or people casually sharing the same Hollywood networks. These are individuals who have been seen at Diddy's private events, photographed at his exclusive parties, and in some cases have openly praised him. Given everything that's now in public view, those associations raise legitimate concerns. And to be clear, this isn't simply about guilt by association, it's about recognizing patterns. Patterns of repeated behavior and intentional silence, where silence itself appears carefully maintained. Because now, it seems that the truth is beginning to emerge. On June 7th, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, identified in court only as Jane, returned to the witness stand with new and unsettling details. She described numerous substance-fueled intimate Encounters, many of which, she said, left her both physically and emotionally devastated. Jane testified that Diddy would often ignore her requests to stop, mock her tears, and repeatedly manipulate her into situations she no longer wished to be part of. Just before Jane took the stand, Judge Arun Subramanian had to issue a warning to Diddy, instructing him not to make contact with the jurors after he was seen nodding at them during cross-examination. It appeared that even in court, Diddy behaved as if standard rules didn't apply to him, but the testimonies didn't end there. Another witness, Brianna Bana Bangalan, told the court that Diddy once held her over a balcony for what she described as a terrifying 10 to 15 seconds. She now suffers from recurring night terrors because of that experience. While this alone could have dominated headlines for weeks, it was only one of several deeply troubling accounts. Diddy's former assistant also came forward, accusing him of sexual misconduct, outbursts, and manipulative behavior over an 8-year period. She described how he used fear and control to maintain his influence. Yet, even these accounts seemed to only scratch the surface. Jane further revealed that even after their relationship ended, Diddy continued to cover her rent. He offered luxuries, dental work, lavish trips, and private homes as if they were bargaining tools. She explained that she was expected to organize what were called hotel nights, where Diddy would bring in male workers. Sometimes he would use coded language to suggest it, and other times, she said, it was simply assumed. It appeared to be a continuous cycle, mistreatment hidden behind luxury, coercion masked as generosity. Now, this leads to the question many are quietly considering, but few are openly asking: where do Will Smith, Meek Mill, and Bishop T.D. Jakes truly stand in all of this? Were they genuinely unaware? Were they simply present by coincidence? Or is there more behind these private events and exclusive gatherings? It's likely just a matter of time before more names become connected. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. This trial isn't solely about Diddy. It's about the long-standing culture of silence that allowed these behaviors to persist for so many years. So, here's something to think about. If these influential men truly had no involvement, why haven't they spoken out? And if they did, what would they say? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay informed as this story continues to develop, don't forget to like and subscribe.